Hello, good afternoon.
Hi
How are
everyone.
you?
Great. A bit cold, but I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Odila. Hi,
Hi,
Gadi.
Gary.
How was your birthday?
Great, thanks.
I'm
Thanks
glad.
for
I'm glad.
asking.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah.
So, do we have fireflies already here?
Oh, no, hold on.
Okay, so please let's add fireflies so we can keep notes on the summary of the meeting, well, of the talk once we finish. Okay, 5:33. Once we have fireflies, we could start. Three. Well, maybe it's gonna be just us. So be ready to interact, to answer to my question. Help me with this, please. Don't leave me alone. And let's see how it goes.
All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us here today. There may be some more people joining in a little bit later. But we're gonna go ahead and start. So I want to introduce you to our speaker of today. It's Edwin Boala. I'm sure you know, you're familiar with him. I'm sure you've seen his name, maybe you've spoken to him. He is our head of pedagogy and instructional design here at Learning. We're very excited to have you, Ed.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. What a beautiful introduction, right? What a beautiful introduction. So thank you very much to all of you who are here today with us. This is the second session of the Learning Festival, and it's pretty nice to be sharing all these talks and all these ideas with you. So without further ado, today we will talk in this second session about confidence. The first day is about confidence, and this second session is about job interviews. Okay, we have all been at least a couple of times in job interviews. And let's check. I have delivered this talk a couple of times, and we have. Let me share my screen. And we have found or I have found some common points when I talk to people that feel that they need some kind of extra tips, some kind of guidance, some kind of they ask me, okay, the secrets just to succeed in a job interview. So let's start with this, okay? Today, this is our agenda. We will talk about what if my English isn't good enough. We will also demystify the perfect English equals success idea. And we will talk about what companies hire and, of course, some job interview tips. So let me start with that. Imagine this. You are sitting in a job interview, your palms are sweaty, your mind is racing, and you know what you want to say. You have practiced 10 times, 100 times your speech. And there are two possible scenarios. Maybe we have a lot of things in the middle of these extremes, but the extremes are these. You are like this person here, and I once was there more than once, okay? Feeling like that, so worried, so nervous. And the other one is being a complete rock star, okay? You are about to enter the scenario. You are about to rock everything in that interview. So when you feel like one or the other, I would like to know if your case is the first, if you started worrying, as I did when I was there, and you asked, what if my English isn't good enough? How many of you have felt that at least once? Just raise your hand. I want to check. All right, that's it. And let me tell you something, okay? I get it. I totally get it, okay? I remember my first interview as a teacher. I was so focused on saying everything perfectly that I forgot the most important thing, just being myself. So I stumbled over a few words. I froze at a moment during the interview. And once that interview finished, I walked out thinking, okay, I completely ruined all my chances. And here is the surprise. That interview opened more doors for me than any perfect conversation. And I will quote perfect. I will use quotation marks with perfect that ever could. So, but where do you think this problem, okay, that big question, that belief of not having an English that is good enough starts? Where is it? Well, I think that all that pressure comes from these two people here. Yeah, I see you. I see you. So most of us were taught to believe that speaking English perfectly, with no mistakes, no hesitations, perfect pronunciation, is the key to success, especially in a professional setting. And that's where we get it wrong. And that's also where this myth ends. I remember spending all that energy on perfect grammar. And the fact is that can actually backfire. When you focus too much on being flawless when you speak, you lose the opportunity to show who you really are because you are too focused on the subject, the verb, the agreement between the subject and the verb, okay, the complement and everything, and the correct tense and the correct pronunciation and using the appropriate word, that you get so robotic at some times that you are too worried, okay, that your personality fades. And you lose that opportunity to show your thinking and to show your value to all the people in the room. But the truth regarding this and regarding that dictionary and that grammar book, okay, is that the things that they do not include in those books, the things that are not included are precisely, okay, having the confidence that you need to share, okay, what is in you beyond that perfect English. And the truth is that companies aren't hiring perfect English. What do you think companies are hiring? I will ask you the question. What do you think the companies nowadays are looking for when they publish, okay, we are hiring? Is it about your perfect English? We have already said no. Is it about your set of skills and qualities and all the degrees and all the diplomas and all the courses and all the different things that you did on LinkedIn?
No, I think it's I think it's more related to the person. I mean, the values and what these soft skills that are so widely mentioned now, more not so the technical skills, but it's soft skills, no? I mean, working in teams and all these things, more the human part, I think, and I believe.
I agree with that, and I don't know if anyone, right? But I think that companies in reality are hiring people, and you said that, Gabriela. Thanks for telling that. Okay, for saying that. Okay, they are hiring people. Okay, so listen, they need people, they need real people, okay, who can connect, who can collaborate, and that can bring ideas to life. I remember, and I will go back to my story, okay? During that first interview, something unexpected happened, okay? Even after my awkward start and my nervousness and all the scrambled ideas and words, the interviewers stayed interested. So they smiled, they nodded, and they even leaned forward a little. You know, when people is really paying attention to you and they move a little bit forward, that was the moment that I realized that they weren't judging my mistakes, or they weren't judging my pronunciation, and they were paying attention really to the human connection that we can make when we are in these kind of professional settings, okay? So we talk a lot about soft skills and core skills, right? They were paying attention to the ideas that I was sharing. And they were also paying attention to the way we can collaborate, because it's not just working, it's creating that sense of collaboration. And from then on, right, I stopped trying to be perfect. So I just relaxed and I focused on explaining my projects, on explaining my motivation, on explaining my enthusiasm about that position. But it was my first teaching position, so I was really excited. So guess what happened next? What happened next, okay, is that they were able just to they gave me the opportunity to become an asset. When you become an asset, all right, is because they remember the energy that you are just spreading to the room, okay, that you are irradiating to all of them. I remember that there was a game changer, okay, and that at that moment they told me, okay, that the most important part is that the energy, your energy, and not your mistakes, all your ideas, all the game changer ideas that you bring to the table. And that's really, really important, because as I mentioned, it's not just about having that perfect CV or having that perfect speech to introduce yourself. So, having said that, and thinking about this first interview, I want to share, okay, some of the job interview tips that are not already scripted in the different books that you can read on coaching on how to succeed in your first interview. You need to make an impression. So what really makes an impression, okay, is the following. First, you need to connect. You need to create that human connection with the interviewer. You need to create that human connection with the audience you are talking to. So the first thing is that you need to smile, right? You need to use your body. You need to use the eye contact. And I think one of the most important things that change once we move to this online world, and for example, when we have all the different interviews that we have now through Zoom, through Google Meet or whatever the tool that you use, is that you need to focus on that camera. Because when we are with people face to face, we tend to, see that other person. But when we are with the camera, sometimes we do not know where to look at. So pretty important, smile and make eye contact. Even when you are on an online interview, look at the camera and just try to project that same energy that you have, Be confident and be sure of what you're doing. The second is being clear, because you need to talk about your top skills. So there is another don't, let's call it, that people tend to tend to fail when going or attending a job interview. And it is talking about all the different things that they have. Like they have a long list of every single aspect that they do on a daily basis. I start my morning by preparing my coffee, and then I go and open my email and I answer all the emails. No. That's a long list of things that are like tasks. But what are your top skills? And Gabriela also mentioned that skills. What are the things that make you unique? What are the things that you know that can add value to your profile? So that is the second. And create stories. Of course, success stories. So share with the interview, during the interview, share what are the top stories, the success stories that you have created. What is that project that you lead, or what is that idea that was that changed the game in your previous position? What are your aspirations? What is the innovation that you can share with the rest of the audience? Because that's what makes you something valuable, but from a professional perspective, right? Because you know what to do and you can bring something new, something fresh that can just change everything in the institution or the organization that you are applying to. Those stories are also pretty important. So you are just sharing your experience, and your experience is not a list of things to do. And number 3 is that you can own your mistakes. When you are not a native speaker of English and you feel that you are not using the language the most appropriate way, and I know that we can talk, for example, with teachers, because it's different when it's someone who is not using the language on a daily basis. But teachers like us, like the majority of us, know that even when you are not a native speaker, you can have errors, you can make mistakes, and you can have just some kind of slips during that path of the conversation, and when you are just trying to communicate, because in the end, it's all about communication. So own your mistakes. You can just laugh about it and move on. You can also reframe, rephrase it, or even correct it using a different word. But try not to interrupt the flow of your conversation, the flow of your message, because that's what really makes the difference. So, in my opinion, the real secret to job interviews is not about sounding perfect. It's about connecting. It's about communicating clearly, and it's about showing confidence, even when you are not 100% fluent. So your English can be imperfect, but your presence, your ideas, and I repeat, that energy, that's what makes the real impression. All right. When we are talking about those stories, and about these interview tips, that give you the opportunity, okay? And mainly when you are used to own your mistakes and move on and continue with the conversation, okay? Is that you are showing that you are human. So that confidence shines through even the little mistakes. So don't worry about it, okay? So what matters really is how you carry yourself after a sleep and not the sleep itself. So the next time you are sitting in that chair, or the next time you are sitting in that waiting room for your interview, or the next time you are logging into that video call, okay? And your nerves are, saying what if I mess up? What if my English is not good enough? What if I forget what I have to say? What if I do not find the correct word or the correct expression? Just remind yourself, it's not about being perfect, okay? Number one, it is about being present. So the real you, with all your ideas, with your passion, with your honest effort, is exactly what they are hoping to find. So be proud of you, of who you are, and what you bring to the table. So this, I want you to remember whenever that negative self-talk starts whispering at your ear, okay? Confidence beats perfection. That's what makes the huge difference in the whole room. That's what makes your presence unique and gives and adds a lot of value to what you have to say and what you have to offer. And before we move on, I would like to know, right, what of these can be used and can be introduced from now on your future interviews. What do you think of that? What would you try to do differently if you have the opportunity to go back to that first interview again? Please raise your hand, open your microphone, and I would like to hear to you. Let me hear you. Let me hear your ideas. How are you going to rock that interview if you were able to go back and do it again for the first time?
Lou says eye contact.
That's important. I agree. Absolutely agree.
I like that thing of to own your mistakes and move on. It's like, of course, you can make mistakes, and you don't have to be stuck there. So I like that. Yeah, nice tip.
That's a good one, right? Because we are always like punishing ourselves because I didn't do this, I didn't say that, I didn't mention that, or that final S, or that final, D or T in the past tense. And the point is that even when your message is clear and the other side of the conversation is getting it, I think it's enough. I think it's enough. All right? Good.
Mer said in the chat, being more present and less freaked out. It's hard, right?
I was
It's hard
about to
to
say
be.
that.
It's hard to be present.
It's hard to be present, and I think it's even harder now that we have all kind of information bombarding us at, constantly. The notifications on the cell phone, the media, the long to-do list that you have, okay? All the tasks that you have to do during the day. Plus, you can add the expectations of your professional environment, okay? They expect me to do this, they expect me to behave like that. So that adds a lot of pressure, and I understand it's hard. But I think, and I will connect this with what we were talking about this morning, earlier today, okay, is that we need to start with small changes, with small things. All those little things will add, okay, will add, and you can build over it. And yes, and then you can make that big change. All right, I see a hand. Yes.
No, just about confidence. I wanted to add that it's also a matter of perspective or mindset going into an interview. Because you tend to see yourself like a position of disadvantage respect to the people interviewing you. But just the way you want to work for the company that you're interviewing for, they also want to hire people. They are looking for somebody. They want to communicate and interact. And that's why it's important not to have a like a speech, but to have a conversation, a real human interaction when you're talking to somebody new in whichever situation, but especially in job interviews, which are like the crucial point of interaction where it's decided whether this potential working relationship will go ahead or not.
I absolutely agree. Amazing. Okay, I absolutely agree. Because they are not hiring just professors, in my case. They're not hiring just professors. They are not hiring engineers. They are not hiring just an assistant. They're hiring people, because people will interact on a daily basis. And you need to have that energy in your building, in your office. So we need that human factor. I mean, we have been talking so much about technology and about tools and apps and all the different things that we have. But what really still makes the difference is being human, purely human, being honest. All right? Good. So we have still 1 minute. All right? Anything else? Something to add? And I want just to remind everybody at home when watching the recording, all right, that you can complete your entries in the Learning Lab that we have created already for the festival. Okay, this one is especially for students and also for all my beloved teachers here to remind their students that once they watch this, they can just complete the entry and reflect on what are the things that could help them on that next interview. All right. Amazing. Good. Anything else? I know it's the end of the day. We are about just to wind down. All right. And I want to thank you for being here this afternoon and for sharing. We can connect on LinkedIn. We can connect with the Learning app as well. And I will continue interacting. Thank you very much for participating, for being present, and thank you very much for listening to all these little tips that I have for you and for the next job interviews.
Thank you,
Bri,
Edwin.
always welcome.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you all
you,
so
Ed.
much. Thank you all so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. Thank you. Thank you. For those watching the recording, don't forget, like Ed said, to fill out your Learning Lab based on this talk. And we hope to see you all again tomorrow for the talks that we have
Yes.
tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon.
See you
Yes.
tomorrow. 2 days more to go. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.